Champagne's made with scumbag extract, hence the barley aroma and the nausea. The past. Only good thing ever come out of the past is history. Catches up with the kid. Hardly had a moment's rest since all this started. Fair to say he's led a hard life, supposing what he says in his sleep ain't no lie. He never knew his old man, but he had his mama to take care of. Frail thing with pure white hair like his. Having his mama's hair did the kid no favors while he was growing up, but he learned to hold his own out there. School ain't working out, so the kid signs up for a turn on the rippling walls. Make his mama some money. Thanks to folks like the kid, the walls kept Ceylondia safe from whatever's out there. The elements, the Ura, you name it. Once the kid done his time, he hurried on home. Turns out his mama's time was done too. The city had nothing for him. The money he'd been sending home was nowhere to be found either. So what'd the kid do? Why, he went right on back to the walls for another 5 years. In the history of Caelandia, nobody's ever volunteered for a second shift on the walls. Out there, kid learned to fend for himself, learn to build, learn to break. In time, the kid earned good standing with the marshals. They trusted him to scout out farther than anybody. One night, on one of his expeditions, the ground beneath him shuddered, cracked, and split apart. He saw nothing where the world used to be. The calamity happened just like that. All the kid had to work with was his hammer and the clothes on his back. Through twisted streets, he ran with nothing but the city crest and an old stranger's voice to guide him. Finally arrived at Caelandia's vaunted safe haven, he and no one else. But then, all they got was more thankless work from a man who ain't even asked his name. Sure, I may be the one who dreamt up the walls and the Bastion, but the kid made them real. not me. I'd like to say I'll never forget him, or what he's doing, what he's done. I surely would. He's a spitting image of Slinger Jawson with that pike and them pistols. Leechade so sour it'll perk you right up when you're feeling low. I've said a lot about the kid, but he ain't the only one wrapped up in all this. What's he thinking? Well, let me see if I got this straight. I only heard it once. Once there was a normal Ura girl, but she wasn't born in the Tassel terminals like the rest of her people. She was from Caelandia. Her folks were orphaned in the war, taken in and raised inside the city, on condition they would never return to the terminals.
Hostile test subject.
Ura refugees who came into the city had to stay for life. It was a way to reduce the risk of city secrets leaking out. The mama passed away from birthing complications, leaving the girl trapped inside that city with no one but her father. Her father was sharper than a brusher's pike, so he got a job working for the city's mancers. His daughter barely saw him. Her father told her nothing of her Ura heritage. He told her nothing of the Mancers. It's for your own good, he said. She took to studying the arts, learned more through music than history books, gained a knack for strings and songs.
Oh no.
Now, where were we?
Location unknown. Children stand clear. Goodbye.
At first, she tried to be like other girls, but her classmates spread word that her father was an trader, selling out the city. One young man stood up for her, or so he led her to believe. He knew much of her heritage, and she grew fond of him. The young man convinced her to take him to a family den to meet her father. Spoke of how he wanted to meet a man from the terminals.
I am IT.
When the young man greeted her father in the Ura's native language, her father flew into a fit of rage and threw them out. The young man never told her that the Ura's native language is not to be used by foreigners. To do so is a terrible insult.
Location unknown.
It was then that she decided to escape. The two of them could flee the city together and go to the Tassel terminals.
Can I help you?
They would hide inside a garbage bin until it got ingested by a scumbag, then let him slosh on out of the city for disposal. Her plan almost succeeded, but the authorities were already there when that scumbag sidled up to the city walls. The young man had sent the authorities a tip. Told him her father was using her to sell secrets to the Tassel terminals. She and her father were arrested for treason, but her father got a deal. Return to work for the Mancers, and she'd go free.
One day that was gonna fall. Gonna build that city.
Before they parted ways for the last time, her father whispered a desperate plea. Hurry home to the den and lock yourself in.
Someday those tears are gonna spill. So big that won't let build it strong, 'cause we'll be there for too long. Gonna build that wall up to the sky. Gonna build that wall up to the sky. Someday your bird is gonna fly. Gonna build that wall until it's done. Gonna build that wall until it's done. But now you got to run. So big that won't let build it strong, 'cause we've been there for too long.
She did as she was told, and deep down underground inside that den, she found a journal written in her father's hand.
Build that city on a hill. Gonna build that city.
The next day, the door to the den turned to ash. The girl came up for air, and she saw the calamity all around her. Okay, now that's just plain overkill. I mean, come on. Live wine so rich, they say it's brought men back from the brink for one last taste. Zulf. Very soon the kid's gonna have to face that man again, for the last time. They met on the worst day of Zulf's life, There in the hanging gardens, he aimed to throw it all away. It wasn't the first time Zulf had nothing to lose. He was born to a simple Ura couple who didn't last long before plague took him. He grew up hungry in the tunnels of the Tazzle terminals, so he took to stealing from a Ceylandian missionary living there. He once got sloppy with his thieving hands. The missionary caught him, but didn't rat him out. Instead, he offered to take him in. That missionary raised Zulf like a gentleman, like he was his own son. Taught him theology, history, and mercy. When the missionary passed away, Zulf promised to continue his work to bring about a lasting peace between the Ura and Ceylandia. Zulf started teaching the missionaries wisdom to any Ura who would listen, and listen they did. He advocated tolerance and argued that the Ura should atone for the war. He believed the city had much to teach his people. However, Zulf felt he could only do so much in the Tazzle terminals. He needed Ceylandia to know the Ura had changed. He decided to do what the missionary did many years before. He left the city of his youth to brave a savage land. The journey was hard, but he knew how to fend for himself. And then at last, Zulf saw the rippling walls on the horizon. He endeared himself to city folk straight away, and in turn he fell in love with the city and its people. One in particular. This young lady was fascinated by the Ura, but she never met anyone like Zulf. She told him she knew all the city's best-kept secrets. The Hanging Gardens was their favorite spot. It was there that Zulf clasped her hands and proposed in proper Ceylandian style. He celebrated with his friends long into the night. Joy and revelry like he'd never seen. Too bad he couldn't remember it all. He woke up alone underground inside the Ura Ceylandian War Memorial, built like an Ura den. But something was wrong. You emerged from that hole in the ground into a waking nightmare. Everything that wasn't gone was twisted upside down. The world was frozen, air thick with ash. What few faces he saw on the street stared back at him with gray and vacant eyes. He found his wife-to-be asleep inside her home, but when he reached out to her, she joined with all the ashes in the sky. So Zulf returned to where he proposed in the Hanging Gardens, and there he stood, as if the gods would answer him. Bull brandy is thicker than paint. Makes your skin feel as tough as knife bark. This ain't about me, though you might as well know where I'm coming from. I ain't much for worldly things, though all these years I've held on to a stash of old books from when I was young. There's one old book in particular I still like to read from time to time. It covers the important things, in a manner of speaking. Here we go. A is for Kobe, the goddess of oath and abandon. Make a promise, and the chastened maid will hold you to it. B is for Breaker. He's faster than a fork of lightning, and his aim is always true. If news needs spreading, tell it to a breaker. C is for Core, a perfect bit of stone found deep underground. It makes the city shine day and night. Is there anything it can't do? D is for Dreadrum, a potent spirit brewed from a foul-smelling plant that grows in the wilds. One taste will sharpen your senses.
Activated. Hello, John.
E is for evacuation. In an emergency, stay calm, leave your belongings, and make your way to the nearest safe haven.
Hostile test subject. Anomaly detected.
F is for foundation, a solid plot of land for building anything you can imagine. Even grand ideas start small. G is for Garmuth, the god of purpose and folly. The crippled Duke reminds us that good intentions are nothing on their own. H is for Hensa, goddess of pain and pleasure. You can't have one without the other. The veiled widow makes sure of it. I is for in case of trouble. a song grown famous across the land, dedicated to the pioneering spirit of Caelandia. J is for Javel, the god of health and atrophy. We each have the Tower Keeper's strength in us, until that strength runs out. K is for kid, a guy or gal just like you. Don't be in such a hurry to grow up, since there's nothing a kid can't do. L is for Lemaine, the god of hope and despair. The Mason King knows that success and failure are all in the mind. M is for Messiah, our goddess of loss and longing. We all are born from the Lorn Mother, and in the end, we all return to her. N is for Nordy, the bird boy, who's always there to bring a smile at the Hanging Gardens, thanks to his feathered friends. O is for Alec, our young god of chance and whim. The carefree son lives forever in the moment. The rest of us can only try. P is for Pith, the god of commotion and order. When the wakeful bull is calm, let's all do our part to keep him that way. U is for Queen Anne, the notorious ankle gator from the wilds. She can even dig her way into rotten children's dreams. R is for Rothus, the god of thirst and plenty. The gorge and host reminds us to always know when we've had enough. S is for Scumbag, a big lumpy old fellow who sidles about. He loves eating trash. Just be sure to keep a healthy distance from him. T is for Trigger, the army's sharpest shooter. Take pride in Caelandia's mounted soldiers. They risk it all to keep us safe. U is for Ura, our pale neighbors to the east, whose homes are underground. Each day we learn to live in harmony. V is for Vigil, an act in remembrance. The sacrifices of our forefathers gave us a new beginning here in Caelandia. W is for Weepin' Nelly, the Langston River's fastest little ferry barge. We couldn't have crossed that river without her help.
I am a hero. Hello, child. Gotcha.
X is for Nothing. Stranger's letter in the mix. Yet even the stranger's letter has its use, as you couldn't have a mailbox without one.
The floor is moving. Keep going.
Y is for you, Drake. The god of impulse and bravery. Each time the morning stallion stamps his hoof, somebody out there makes up his mind. Z is for Soulwood, a tough old plant whose gourds make great target practice. Whatever you do, don't eat 'em. The end. There's nothing after Z. Used to be one more page in here, though, before somebody tore it out. Know what it said?
Thanks anyway.
The last page of this book was about the author. Didn't say much, but the imagination has a way of filling in the gaps.
I love you, child. Take me with you. Hey.
Well, it finally arrived at Celandia's vaunted safe haven.